buzzing for this one. Best League Cup final in years. Right, guys, this Carabao Cup final feels different. In the last 5 years, we've seen Man City win it 4 times, Liverpool won it once, but those teams simply just don't care. They don't need another trophy. You don't. I know you'd like one, but you don't need one. I do. Another video. But this year, we have a Newcastle team that have already found themselves in a final 16 months after their takeover. So it's kind of ahead of schedule, which makes it feel all a bit more pure in a muddy world that we live in. For Manchester United, it's 5 seasons without a trophy. So for them as well, do they need it? Yeah, I think they probably do need this one a little bit. And Ten Hag can be rewarded for the remarkable improvement that he's made with, a trophy straight off the bat. And to get that first one done out of the way to a point is something that, of course, he's going to want to make happen, right? So for both managers, it's an opportunity to lift a trophy in their first full season. So who will come out on top? Well, that's what we're about to discuss. Right, let's kick off with some team previews. Coming into the final, we have a Man United team that have scored at least 2 goals in 13 of the last 14 matches since the start of the year. Really impressive stuff. They are in hot goal-scoring form, mainly due to, of course, that boy, Marcus Rashford. However, they've had a congested list of fixtures in the lead up to this game, which I think does play a massive part in it. And Newcastle have had 3 matches in February in comparison to Man United's 7. That does play a part in this, and of course the Barcelona game just a few days before this massive cup final. Eddie Howe's team have built a really strong defence this season. They've only conceded 15 in 23 league matches, but they have conceded in each of their last 4 matches, and before that they had 10 clean sheets out of their last 11, so they're sort of coming out of that red-hot form that they were in. So they don't have that on Man United. They haven't won in the last 3 matches, but it's probably no coincidence that Bruno Guimaraes has been suspended, and Newcastle struggle when he's not playing. That's inevitable when you have a player who's as important and who is so far ahead of the bulk of that squad. So with his suspension now over, how much can his return impact the team in the final? Here's a spoiler: hugely. As this graphic shows, there is a stark contrast in Newcastle's results when Guimaraes has been suspended or injured. So you could say that Guimaraes has a ripple effect, available now, links in the description, on the rest of the team. His passing creates goals, he retains the ball brilliantly. I always talk about this force field that certain centre midfielders can have. He has that. He's so trusted and can be trusted in any scenario to be given the ball and to retain it and probably create something as well. He is the go-to guy for the team, aside from Kieran Trippier. And importantly, he is technically fantastic, which causes the opposition problems. It's probably quite surprising that Guimaraes has won the most fouls for the team this year with 42. And the obvious ripple effect, last time I'll do it, here is that it provides Trippier an opportunity to create from dead ball situations. The thing I like the most about Guimaraes is the fact that it makes all the players around him look so much better. That those players are willing to make those runs because he's able to find them. And of those 3 assists that he's had this season, they've all been for Almiron. So in particular, he's helped with the improvement of Almiron, certainly in his numbers. And Man United, they have to be very aware when he's on the ball and not allow him time in the midfield. If he does have time and he's often able to create time for himself, then he can be pretty devastating and put things on a plate for some of those other players. It's going to be Luke Shaw's duty, I think, to keep an eye on those runs from Almiron in particular, especially when Guimaraes is going to be looking for that ball into him. So that could be a key area of this game. On the other side, in terms of players coming back, Casemiro is back. Manchester United are in a similar situation where they've got a crucial midfielder who has been suspended but returns for the final. And although they were able to get 7 points out of 9 without Casemiro, the difference with him in the midfield is obvious. And the battle between him and Guimaraes is going to be so interesting to watch. Will Casemiro be able to get close enough to him, but also will he be able to intercept some of the movements and passes that he'll be looking to make as well? Furthermore, it's likely they'll have Casemiro playing next to Sabitzer to replicate what they had with Eriksen in the team. There should be some kind of familiarity to how they set up before Eriksen was injured, and Sabitzer has come in, although he's been lucky maybe with being a sent-off himself, he's a great deputy or substitute for Eriksen. Therefore, with Casemiro, you have a fantastic ball winner, which is what you need up against Guimaraes. And in possession, Sabitzer will be given that little bit more freedom to push higher up, I think, due to that reliability that he has in Casemiro. Let's talk about that attacking threat from Manchester United, because in attack, Man United will clearly be looking towards one man, Marcus Rashford, for their goals, because, I mean, he's got all their goals. He's got 16 goals in 17 matches since the World Cup. We're recording this just before the game against Barcelona, so we'll see if that's changed since then, but you know what I'm saying, right? And for Newcastle, his threat is going to be really, really concerning. Rashford has been playing on the left and through the middle. Against Leicester City, he switched to the left wing in the second half, and he got his second goal from that position. I think you're seeing a similar thing between him and Darwin Núñez in terms of when he is on that left-hand side, because Bruno Fernandes is playing in a right-sided role a lot more often, certainly after the recent sort of twist from Ten Hag. And when they're doing that, it's almost like your usual formation, but on a bit of an axis, and it allows him to curve those runs, but also be that sort of advance forward from that left position. And with Trippier being the key creative outlet for Newcastle, there's going to be masses of space behind him for Rashford to exploit. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Trippier, because look, Trippier is experienced enough to be aware of this, and Eddie Howe will set up his team to stop Rashford, first and foremost. I think they want to get to extra time, they want to get to penalties, but they want to do it proactively on the front foot, and that's something that Eddie Howe's done brilliantly. You know, there's been a lot of those links between Atletico Madrid and his time sort of watching them and what he's implemented at Newcastle, and I think that's right. And this is one of those finals where they will be conservative to a point, but they will be looking to hurt the opposition. And Trippier will be an interesting one in terms of when he chooses to sneak forward and be that playmaker, because he is such an outlet aside from Bruno Guimaraes. This is Newcastle's average positions when they played Man United in October. And even though Rashford didn't start, the position of Sean Longstaff shows exactly what they do need. You know, their centre-backs shift across and Longstaff covers as well. So his role in the final is going to be so important, Sean Longstaff. And I'm rooting for Sean Longstaff, because I think if you want a sort of a hometown boy doing bits in finals like that, because it's good for the soul, isn't it? So as everyone knows, Nick Pope is suspended. United's forwards are going to be relieved that Nick Pope isn't in goal. You know, he's such a pivotal player for Newcastle, with the 10th highest save percentage in the top 5 European leagues, and during his time at Burnley as well. So composed and so brilliant in terms of inside his own box, not with his feet, but when those crosses come in, they are very, very strong, Newcastle, because they have size, and then you've got a big guy like Pope, as opposed to maybe, De Gea down the other end, or other goalkeepers who are a little bit more slight. It's likely that Loris Karius will replace Pope, who last played a game for Union Berlin in February 2021. We've done a video, spoken about it on the Ripple Effect. I said I wouldn't bring it up, but there's a clip on it talking about all the different characters that have played a part in the Karius Cup final occurring. So check that video out if you get a chance. It's really unlucky for Pope, though, and it's unfortunate for Newcastle, as they're losing an incredibly reliable shot stopper. Down the other end of the pitch, Newcastle's press, it could cause Man United's goalkeeper problems. De Gea isn't great under pressure, and I know Man United fans understandably are very loyal towards him, but I think that's a fair, crack in terms of a weakness with De Gea. And this is what Newcastle are great at doing. So it's a strength of Newcastle. And by pressing De Gea, Newcastle could make them panic and create a chance by forcing them into a bit of a mistake. So that's another thing to kind of keep an eye on during this game. It also depends on who Ten Hag starts in defence. And due to Newcastle's press, Delot should probably start over Wan-Bissaka. He's much more composed on the ball, and he can deal with the pressure from the opposition. Although, if it is Wan-Bissaka who starts, then it's set up perfectly for Newcastle to try and take advantage. Whilst we're talking about that right-back position, look, whoever starts is going to be likely to be up against Alan St-Maximin, who got man of the match against Liverpool. He had 7 successful dribbles and 2 key passes, which made him a huge handful to deal with, and that will be something that actually makes you think again and go, are we careful here? Do we go with Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Because in terms of being a one-on-one defender, he is so strong and might be able to cope that little bit better than Delot. As Casemiro is on the right of Man United's midfield, he'll be given the task of closing down St-Maximin when he cuts inside, and with his dribbling ability clashing with Casemiro's aggressiveness, this is definitely a free kick on the edge of the box waiting to happen. And that could lead to Trippier or Bruno Guimaraes making themselves a hero. Probably Trippier, right? Definitely Trippier, especially with what he's done in the past. Should Isak or Wilson start as the striker? Neither of them are in great form, with just 1 goal each in 2023. I think the safe option, probably the fair option as well, is Callum Wilson, as he's had more game time and experience with Eddie Howe's style. Isak could offer height in the box against Martinez, But the Argentinian has been able to cope well against other strikers who are bigger, and that's now becoming a bit of a redundant thought. And, plaudits to Martinez, who's really shut up a lot of people. Although, overall, Newcastle are a much, much bigger side than Man United. Newcastle United and Manchester United are very lucky because they have the support of some good people like yourselves. Unfortunately, I've got the support of Surfshark, today's sponsor. Surfshark is a VPN. That's a virtual private network. You're off at a coffee shop, having a coffee, and you want to enjoy that public Wi-Fi. You're gasping for it because your data's low. Well, again, Surfshark sorts you out by providing that anonymity and keeping those pesky cyber criminals at bay. It's providing safety. That's just the Surfshark way. With a Surfshark VPN, you can change your real location to any location around the world. Over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries. This means you can access new content by exploring Netflix. There's some great stuff on at the moment, and you could do so in all the countries of the world. Also, if you're on holiday, as I said, and you often can't watch your favourite sporting event, but with this Surfshark VPN, you can change your IP address back to the UK, and you can tuck into Sky Sports, you can tuck into BBC iPlayer, you can tuck into whatever you want, because masking your IP address is essential, and it's essential in becoming private online. A VPN ensures your city, country, and download history isn't linked to your identity. And Surfshark's clean web feature blocks ads, phishing attempts, tracking, and malware, allowing you to surf the web safely. And the final thing that sets Surfshark apart and provides even more value to you guys is that you can use your Surfshark VPN on unlimited devices. That means as many devices as you'd like. So take a look at the link in the description. That will take you to the Surfshark website where you can get yourself 83% off and 3 months extra for free right now by using my code Allcott. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. So why not give Surfshark a go? Link is in the description, as I said. Let's have a look at Man United's starting 11, or possible starting 11. We can see something very interesting developing in attack, I think. Sancho took a break and has returned to the team, playing as a 10. With Fernandes on the right, their third goal came through Fernandes and Sancho linking up really, really nicely. And in 45 minutes, Sancho had 4 shots, 4 key passes, and his movement in particular was looking really, really nice in that new role. The other Bruno Fernandes, he incredibly had 9 key passes against Leicester and is proving to be very influential on the right. He's made 119 shot-creating actions in the Premier League, and only Kevin De Bruyne has more, but he's kind of going under the radar this year. I think 17 big chances that he's created. He's only got 6 assists, which is a little bit unfair on him. He's having a really strong season. And maybe this 11 is vulnerable in defence, but with Casemiro at the back, Martinez and Varane in defence, with Shaw, who has been strong, and Fernandes tracking back, I think Ten Hag can trust this team massively. Defensively, Man United have been really, really strong recently as well. And plus, they've shown that they can outscore the opposition recently anyway. Over to Newcastle's possible starting 11. It looks considerably stronger with Gomes in the midfield, but the goalkeeper replacement, it can't be ignored. I think it's a big part in this. And they have to believe that they can defend before the ball gets to the goalkeeper. We've all done it in Sunday League when you've had to chuck in one of your mates who's an outfield player and put him in goal. And the desire then is to stop shots at source. And that's probably going to be something that I wonder if Ten Hag will think of. And I wonder if it's something that Eddie Howe will overly lean on. The bottom line is this guy's a professional goalkeeper, so you probably shouldn't have to do that. But you have to run the risk a little bit because, your third choice goalkeeper, who is known for howlers, him coming in is not exactly what you want going into a cup final. Allan Maximin is likely to be given a start in the final, even though he's only returned recently, but they actually don't have that many alternatives. Joe Willock is injured, so Joe Linton can't move out there, and it's way too early, I think, for Anthony Gordon to step in a final like this. And so those are your 2 teams. Now, when it comes to the prediction, the sensible money's on Man United, it has to be. But I really think there are some things coming together here that won't be seen but will be felt. First of all, Man United playing against Barcelona. Emotionally, that is a huge game for the club, and physically could be incredibly tiring as well. And then that fast turnaround, we've seen it through the years. Even if it is Thursday to Sunday, it's difficult, and it can be that couple of percent that make the difference. There is the romanticism of Newcastle, and I think you can sort of get caught by that. I think in terms of managers, they've both done fantastic jobs, but you would suggest that Ten Hag is, at the moment, everything he's sort of doing is working so well that he has the upper hand from that point of view in terms of the little tweaks and changes he makes and how correct he's getting it. But I do think that the other element of it is that Newcastle crowd going down to Wembley for their opportunity to win a trophy for the first time since 1955, and the feeling that it's really there and up for grabs. The thing I keep coming back to is Karius, because I think the pressure on him is huge. I think it's very difficult for him to be able to cope with it, and we just don't know what's the first 10 minutes going to be like. What's the first half of the game going to be like? And at any moment, you've got a goalkeeper that I think that back four will not be sure if he's going to come out and claim the ball. And it is a huge factor, and it will be the Carabao Cup final. It will be. It does feel like either he'll make a mistake or they'll win it and he'll have a belter of a game. Rashford's so hard to stop right now. Bruno Fernandes in great form. Casemiro back in this side. I see it going to extra time. I do. Do you know what? I keep moving between the idea that it goes to extra time, maybe even penalties, and Newcastle win it, or Newcastle get their hearts broken in extra time, and it's now just not time just yet. But I'm going to get off the fence. Yeah, I think they'll get their heart broken. And I'd quite like to, because I think for the underdog, and they are still the underdogs, and for how much it would mean, and for the players that are essentially going to be washed away by all the money and the players that will come in, like Longstaff, in time possibly like Joe Linton, in time possibly like Almiron, those kind of guys. This is their chance to be real cult heroes, and so I'd really like them to have that. And for the Newcastle fans, I mean, when you've been starving for so long, you do feel like you've earned it, and Newcastle fans have earned it. They have. So I would like to see Newcastle win it. I just think Rashford's too hard right now. Guys, how are you feeling about this one? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you both? How are you feeling about Karius? How are you feeling about the tactics of the game? What's your starting 11 and what is your prediction? Let me know in the comments down below. If you got value from this video or from this channel at any point, why not hit that subscribe button and why not hit the like button on your way out? Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.
What I've done is I've Googled, and literally I'll tell you the word I Googled for this. Loris Karius, big muscles.
So I haven't seen, this is the first time I've seen this. I mean, he is a influencer for fitness.